Welcome to Silver Pro, sponsored by SD Bullion. I'm your host, Yankee Stacking, and I'm joined by my very cool co-host, Silver Dragons.
Happy to be here. What are we talking about, Yankee?
We're talking about critical silver impacts to watch in 2023. So I'm talking silver impacts like on the spot price of silver, the supply, the demand, just premiums. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff that you need to be watching for in 2023 when it comes to silver stacking.
Dude, when I think about impacts, premiums have changed so much over the last few years, and they're finally changing for the better. Just over the last few months, we've really seen premiums on silver drop. And if you're not really sure what we're talking about, it's basically the amount you have to pay over spot price to buy bullion, right? Coins, bars, etc. That's a premium. And so for the longest time, probably 2 years, premiums were just skyrocketing. I feel like once COVID hit, everything just went crazy. But they're finally coming down. And so it's great. We could just get a better deal on silver now, right?
And I talked to SD Bullion about it too. They told me there's more pressure being applied by the retailers, online bullion dealers on the wholesale market. They're pushing back. In fact, they're pushing back especially on the 2023 Eagles. We're not buying them. We're going to hold. We're holding. And enough of them are doing it. I think that is really having its desired effect on lowering premiums.
So you're saying the middleman, the retailer and the wholesaler is saying, no, the price is too high.
Yes.
Interesting.
Isn't that
And so,
interesting? Yeah.
wow. Well, and then obviously if they're refusing to buy them, premium's going to have to come down,
Right.
which is great for us.
So keep your eye on that. I don't think, SD, we're ever going back to those pre-pandemic, pre-inflationary levels.
It was so nice.
I know, right?
I remember. Okay, so when I
crazy.
first started stacking, it was $1 over spot for a round. It was $3 over spot for a silver eagle. That was like the just standard. Everyone charged that or less.
See, this
You know what I mean?
2001, this cull or circulated, I got this for like spot.
Yeah, exactly.
It was an amazing time. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going back to that.
Probably never again.
What about the recession that we are in?
They pad the numbers with the employment stats, just like they pad the numbers for inflation.
Right.
And so, everything is not what it seems. Whatever they're saying, it's probably, twice as bad as what they're saying.
Right. Yep.
So
I think a couple things on that. We're in a recession. I think GDP.
definitely.
I think GDP globally is going to be down this year. I think layoffs that are currently primarily focused in the tech sector are going to spill out into the mainstream. I think eventually you're going to see a reversal in employment. I think stagflation takes hold in a big way this year. And I think it's going to be very difficult in 2023 economically.
It's not great.
Nope.
For silver, I think we see silver move lower for the next few months. And I'm really thinking once we bottom out, man, it's just going to go up from there. So,
Right.
It's hard to kind of, predict where everything's going to or when everything's going to go down. But I'm thinking probably after the summer, we start seeing a big rally.
One of the guys that you and I both talk to and have on our channel is Leo Gantz, and he actually predicted back in December that June would be a likely month for the Fed to pivot.
So to not raise rates.
Right. Now they could then start cutting, especially if what I predict with stagflation occurs. So June might be the time. That's something that you definitely want to watch for in 2023 because this could have a critical impact with the price of silver.
If you're listening right now and you're kind of wondering, should I start buying silver? What should I do? This is like your time. I mean, this is a gift, right? For silver price to go down for a few months, buy at those lower prices and then see it rally after that point. I mean, this is perfect for people who are just getting into silver.
So here's
And
another
so,
thing that might actually make another huge impact on silver, and that is the geopolitical threats that we are seeing, an escalation of the war in Ukraine.
Russia invades Ukraine, silver explodes. I think it went up $2 or $3, and that was literally the high for the year. Was a week after, and that's when
That's right.
everyone was kind of wondering what's going to happen. There was so much fear at that point in time. How's everyone going to respond to the invasion?
Yep.
And so, if we see something like that with China or things get worse in Ukraine, we could see another spike in precious metals prices because when there's fear, that's when people flood to the safe haven assets, being gold and silver. So,
Geopolitical threats, keep your eyes peeled for that in 2023. Could have a big impact on silver.
yep.
Oh, here's one that we love, actually, and it is silver at spot deals. Okay?
Yes, the best.
Yes. I mean, you and I both remember when this was the norm, right?
Oh yeah, every bullion dealer had them. It was it was so great. I remember there was probably like 6, 7, 8 of them when I first started stacking, and I got every single one. I bought all the
Yep.
spot deals I could, and then they evaporated. They were just gone. There was zero spot deals for like 3 years, and they're finally starting to come back. So I
They
think
are.
SD
Yeah.
Bullion has one, correct?
Yeah, actually, they do. In fact, I'm going to show that right here, really quick here. If you go to sdbullion.com/new,
Mm-hmm.
and if this is your first time you've ever ordered at SD Bullion, you're going to want to go there and you're going to want this deal. It is pretty amazing. You can either get a 5-ounce bar of silver or a 10-gram bar of gold. That's what we're talking about when it comes to spot deals. What's the rule of thumb when it comes to spot deals, SD?
Buy them immediately.
Don't wait. I'm going to even say if a spot deal shows up, don't worry what the spot price is. Just buy it. It'll be gone
Yeah.
before you turn around. So,
Well, and if they do sell out quickly, this would probably incentivize maybe them or even other bullion dealers to do the same thing.
good
And
point.
so this is great for us, the retail consumer. We want more spot deals. We love it. One thing that we've seen over the years is silver usually goes down during the summer, and gold as well. It's just one of those things. People, they're on vacation. They're not really looking at, their investments, and there's just less interest typically. And so if you look at any chart for the year, um, maybe not every single year, but a lot of the time we see them move lower in the summer and then they pick up in the fall. So I'd say
Mhm.
2023, I absolutely expect that to be the case.
Yep. Yep. Seasonality, if you will. How about the U.S. Mint? They have
Uh,
suffered greatly over the last year. What do you think is going to happen in 2023?
I honestly think it's going to be more of the same.
Hmm.
I think it's going to be very lackluster. I don't see them minting nearly enough silver eagles or gold eagles to fulfill demand. They're literally breaking the law by not doing that. They got away with it for the last couple of years. No one cared. They weren't sued. And
Hmm.
so they're going to continue to do it. It's very disappointing. As a stacker, we would love to see, higher production numbers, but I really don't think it's going to happen.
They seem to be pulling away from the bullion and focusing just on their semi-numismatic collectibles. It doesn't seem
Yep.
like that's the priority with them.
Right. And that's what we want is what we most of us who are stackers, we want the bullion, right?
Yeah.
That's what we like because it's the cheaper thing to buy. But they don't make any money off the bullion. They're supposed to provide it as a service.
Hmm.
Literally by law, they're supposed to provide
Hmm.
it. And the things that they make money on, the collectible coins, the Morgan dollars, all that kind of stuff, that's more what they're focusing on now. And in fact, I think it was yesterday they just jacked up the prices on the Morgan dollars for this year. So very disappointing to see that. It's just greed.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not happy with them.
Another potential silver impact to watch for in 2023 is a shortage, especially in the retail markets.
Well, I would say if there's a big spike in demand, we could see retail markets kind of shrink. As far as like the silver on the COMEX and the LBMA, the big
Yep.
warehouses that have the 1,000-ounce bars, those have been shrinking at a pretty fast pace. And I don't think they're going to run out or anything this year. But yeah, I mean, I would say definitely keep an eye on it.
What I'm seeing is a much greater awareness with silver. More and more, I am seeing brand new stackers, people just getting red pilled to what's going on and finding out the importance of protecting your wealth. A lot of that has to do with the inflation that we're suffering under. People realize that this is unsustainable and the end game is on the horizon.
Yeah,
Yep.
demand goes up, supply starts shrinking.
Right,
So
right.
it definitely could have an effect. And one other thing I want to mention before we wrap up, Yankee, is if the media starts covering it.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen this in the past. If you look at 2011, I mean, we all know what happened to silver. It blew up. It went to almost $50 an ounce. The media was covering it. They were talking about it quite a bit. That had a huge impact. A lot of people got in at that time. Most people are going to lose money. They're going to get in at the peak during all the hype. You don't want to be that person. Get in now when the price is low.
Right. What's the bottom line here when it comes to 2023 and the silver impacts to watch for?
The bottom line is you got to keep on buying silver. I try and buy every other week. Yeah, dollar cost average. What do you think?
Absolutely. I do think, though, there's a way to be a little shrewd about this. Dollar cost averaging is important, but if you see some of these impacts, that may be the time to really make some deeper purchases. So you have to have some dry powder.
Absolutely.
I think there is a balance between dollar cost averaging, but also having some reserve for when some big news, big stuff occurs. We've touched on a few of them: the Fed pivot, geopolitical stuff, a recession. We talked about the seasonality, the U.S. mint production, spot price deals. You want to be ready to pounce.
Great advice, Yankee.
All right, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for watching Silver Pros.
Stack like a pro.